Bobby got the gun. Anyway, I ain't no rapper. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, 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 good morning. Welcome to Change. Umpa Abdul Wakil. Pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows me to be as sincere and as real and as understanding as I can be, because I got a subject today. I do have a word of poetry today that I think I've played it before, but I want us all to be more keen and paying attention to the wording here, because we're talking about love today, y'all. We're talking about the L-O-V-E. We're talking about that thing that most of these young ladies out here talking about they don't want no parts in. One is because of what they see their parents and their loved ones go through in the name of love. And two is because a lot of us, even myself sometimes, love has a vast, infinite understanding to it. But it's all positive. It's all in good light if you practicing or living that love right. Righteously, before I get into all that, again, I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I pray my Lord, my God, our God, the Creator, allows us all to open up our hearts and open up our ears, and, grab a pen and paper, grab something, grab a hold of something, open it up your spirit, and try to find a means to understanding what's going on in our hearts today, what's going on in our homes today, to try to deal with it in perspective, to put it into line and deal with it from greatest to least. And do one thing at a time instead of trying to jam yourself into a funk, a bubble, or a hole. Because once we jam ourselves into these holes, it's hard to get out of them because you got so many things coming at you at one time. And Allah knows best. So let's first, inshallah, deal with this issue of love. This issue of love, the thing that this emotion that we misconstrue, this emotion that we put before everything, and we don't even understand it ourselves sometimes. A lot of us be as, like Buckwheat would say, booking Panub in all the wrong paces, because that's what it is. You're not looking for love and all, you booking Panub, you want the nub, the quick fix. Allahu alam, and I had to learn to come and respect love. I had to go through some things. It's one thing to be hurt, but when you're doing the hurting, you're hurting somebody. Nah, it's not a good feeling. If you have any inkling of faith or good person still left in you. Now, if the heart is dark and it's black, you live for that type time. You're demon time. You want to hurt people. You want to lie to people. You want to manipulate. You want to be, the boss of things that you shouldn't be the boss of. And in the end, is only destruction on that path to destruction. And Allah knows best. Anyway, so I have a word of poetry before we get into is there love after love? That's really what I want to talk about. That's the crux of my talk today, inshallah. I want to talk about, is there a possibility of loving someone or opening your heart up again fully to a person or situation after it has been crushed or imploded upon, and we're going to talk about that on the flip side. But today I want to, I'm going to play a word of poetry that I played before. But I want us all, inshallah, God willing, open up your heart, open up your ears. If you know somebody in this situation, give them a word of advice, and we're here to help our sisters, our mothers, our aunties, our cousins, our friends, who think they're in love, but yet they waking up with bruises and they waking up with hardships and situations in their lives that they don't have to put up with. But today we're going to give them some life. So inshallah, I'm going to go ahead and get into this word of poetry this week. And on the flip side, we're going to talk about let's get into it, y'all. We're going to get into it. If you want to comment. You want to add on, let's do it. I'm all for it. If you disagree with anything I say, then I don't know everything. And neither do you. So maybe we can come together with some understanding in the middle where we can, find, because that's the whole point of it, cultivating mature positivity. What we doing over here, positivity, what we doing over here on the radio station is trying to find peace and bring love in. Our city, we can't die. We can't let our, the people may be dying. They may take away our hospital. They may do a lot of things to Chester, but we are still a united front. We still strong. We are Chester. I believe in us. I believe in our children. I believe in our future. I think we're going to be just fine. But we all got pulled together. We all got to come to it, inshallah. We got to go, sometimes you got to go through it to get to it. That's just the truth. Got to do away with some things. You got to change some situations. You got to reconstruct that crust or that hard shell that's inside of you for a heart. And you got to come up with some solutions to give these children some answers other than dying or hating themselves or going into depression or wanting to harm somebody else's child. So we have to look in ourselves and see if we really loving or have a good understanding of what love is, the basis of love. Because if we're not loving right, it could be our own fault why everything is going on today in our homes and in our situation. So anyway, inshallah, Megillah got me over here booing. Look, I'm going to go into this word of poetry. Inshallah, you guys, I'm going to see you on the flip side. This is Finding Humility Through Change. Check out this week's word of poetry. Inshallah.
The weakest of homes is the home of the spider, if only they knew. And it's not just because of the web, but also for what happens inside it too. The most fragile of homes, home to the most ferocious of family feuds, a husband and wife relationship that is solely based on being used for consummation. See, as soon as they finish mating, the wife would then consume the body of her own husband. It's disgusting, and so can the children be too. See, as soon as they mature, they would chew upon their own mother as a source of food. It's sinister, it's crude. I don't want to imagine it, but it's true. And such the examples that are used, not because God can be cruel, but for God to prove that the weakest of homes are those in which the inhabitants are abused. See, marriages are meant to bring happiness, and the home is a refuge of tranquility and comfort to all those who walk through. And if you ever do happen to fall into disputes, you must learn to understand that the marriage isn't always about you. Rather, it's learning to live together as one, although we are still living together as two. In a home where everybody knows that they belong, with love, kindness, and mercy, so we could all just get along. And there's no need for fighting every time something small goes wrong, because you can't build a home upon violence and then expect it to stand strong. I mean, what kind of man would harm his wife in the darkness of the night, leaving her to bleed as he scars her for life, having to cover up her bruises as she tries to hide them from sight? See, he's so focused on her responsibilities, but fails to realize that he also owes her rights. See, as a husband, you're meant to provide, protect, respect, guide, and guard her. You are her garment, her lifelong partner, her Prince Charming who should charm her, her knight in shining armor. But a night has turned into a nightmare as he spends his nights trying to harm her. As she begs him on her knees, please, I need you to be calmer. I urge you, see, patience is a virtue. I never even heard you. I promise I didn't mean to hurt you. Please don't be mad. And please don't let the kids see, cause it's not right for a dad. It's sickening, it's sad that such scenes are happening in reality within the homes of so many broken families. It's a calamity that we forgot what the meaning of marriage is. Did you forget that the best of you in character is he who is best to his wife? The best of advice from the one who never harmed a servant, child, or wife in his whole entire life. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was the best of examples in how to treat a woman right. See, if his wife had cooked something he had liked, he would eat it. And if he didn't, he would leave it without expressing an ounce of dislike. He would even refuse an invitation to food until his wife had also received an invite. And he would help around the house too, just to make her workload light. He was the pinnacle of being polite. And he taught us that the strongest of men is not he who knows how to fight, but rather he who restrains his anger right at the moment of strife. So have patience, brother. I mean, you wouldn't allow it for your own mother, daughter, or sister. You wouldn't bear to watch another man punch and kick her. So the next time you even think to cause her trauma and hit her, you need to understand that she too is another man's mother, daughter, or sister. So dear sister, no human being deserves to live a life of violence alone. So if he doesn't treat you with kindness, don't live in silence trying to fight this on your own. Rather seek help from God first, and don't be afraid to then pick up the phone and let your people know that you are no longer willing to live in the weakest of homes. Violence against women?
Islam says no.
No.
So alhamdulillah. I'm thinking about a lot of sisters, even my mom. Welcome back to you guys. Even my mom, alhamdulillah, before we get into this issue with love, we gotta, really, I wanna focus on the men who are abusive to women. You have your reasons, you have your addictions, you have your situations that we all personally as men that we go through. But you have to really dig deep down inside of yourself and look at the woman in front of you and know that she been riding and having your back all this long. You got no right to put your hands on her. And if you feel that you're that angry and you got to put your hands on a woman, I don't know, something wrong with you or something going on inside of you that shouldn't be going on. Maybe you need to talk about it. Maybe you need to speak about it, because in the end, you're going to be left alone and you're going to be left with regret. Young man or old man, whoever you are across the board, you got children watching you talk to your wife like that, or their mother like that, or somebody that loves them dearly like that, that can cause a rift. It could cause a rift, a shift in the household. It can cause a devil to come in and take away a life for a life, So be mindful, oh men. My brothers, my sisters, my brothers, I'm really talking to my brothers, man. We have to be examples. Do not put your hands on a woman. That's not really cool. I don't get down like that. I will swing on you for that. Anyway, so alhamdulillah. So we get into this issue with love, right? So I want to talk about love because I see a lot of savages being birthed into the city. These little young Jones ain't got no feelings. They don't got no pics. They do not care. And it's although it's cute to y'all right now, it's a fun thing, no feelings, and they think they build this character up and they start, getting into this person that everybody's building up to be, and they missing out on the greatest gift that God ever gave humanity. Love. Yes. The greatest gift that ever touched the earth was love. It's love that has it gone. Anyway, so I'm seeing these savages being, brought about. And I'm wondering why. Like, why so many of them? Because a lot of them come from broken homes, watching a man get over on their mother. Watching a man in the name of love, because they all, you hear, listen, I love you, I love you, I love you, baby. But the story tells, if you pay attention, the narrative says something different. You come in the house is dry, it's dead, it's gloomy, it's everything but love inside of the relationship and inside of the home. Why is that? So I think that we have to sit down and pull love out, sit it on the table and go through it like what's that game that we used to have back in the day when you used to get the bones out, and if you touch anything, the thing scare you and everybody laughing. I forgot the name of that. If you remember, put it on, inshallah. So we got to dissect love and break it down. Where does love come from, first of all? And I know everybody, probably, I don't know about everybody, but most people tired of hearing the same thing. But in order to have love, in order to call it love, in order to know that it's true love, it has to come from above. It has to come from an understanding. It has to come from that first relationship with God first. I'm sorry, I have to say the truth. You have to have a relationship with God in order for God to set you out on a journey in his name, right? And his cause and his way, in order for you to call other people to his majesty with what he gave you as a unique gift. It could be a curves, it could be beauty, it could be a smile, it could be your voice, it could be something that he gave you, but it started with the initial relationship between you and your creator. SubhanAllah. Gotta be strong. It has to be a solidified front there for anything that we set out to do work, for it not to destroy us. And if we do bring it back to God, all beat up and bruised, he'll remix, can put you right back out there again to do more work for him. But if there's no relationship between you and the creator, how can you call it love? How do you know? right? But is it love that's coming out of his pocket? Or is it love that's coming from her bank account? Huh? Is it love that's coming from addiction that we both shouldn't be on? Is it love that's coming from the bottom of a bottle? Is it love out of force and fear? Is it love that's being dictated to you? Is that, look, ask yourself, when you look in the mirror, oh young lady, or auntie, or mom, or somebody you love, and you see those bruises under your eyes, and you see that cut that when you wipe one, the other one start bleeding off of something that is not from you, that you didn't deserve, you call that love? Where is it love? Where? If he hit you once, he's going to hit you again. And if for you, whoever you are, my beloved women, to say that my face accidentally ran into his hand as an excuse to cover up something that's not love, it's going to keep going. It's not going to get better. Is there love after love? You went through that. You went through that harmful, traumatizing experience. Your children, this and that and forth. You're getting better. Time went on, 6 months, a year, 2 years. You got through it. You got a bad memory of a man or men that did things to you. Can weep or woman, because I'm not just going to sit up here and say it's always the men, but you got some vicious women out here too. And Allah, that will stab you, that will shoot you, that walk over you, that'll use you, abuse you, disrespect you, drag you out in the middle of the street, humiliate you, and walk over you like you never meant nothing to them. It's a vicious world we live in. And they say they got it from us. They watched us do it for so long. They watched a man do this, and they vowed that if all men gonna get it because of women. It's a situation that's distracting. Because if we spend too much time searching for love in all the wrong places, or calling something love that's not love, and living upon that and letting time, while Allah swears by time, right? We all using our precious, time that we don't have on things that we shouldn't be on. And some of us dying on those things. And we all forget that we all got to stand before His Majesty and be held accountable for the gift of life that He put in, the soul that He put inside of your body. You'll be held accountable for it. And if we when He pull out our souls, each and every one of us, and on our soul is what we allow somebody to distract us from Him first, right? From His Majesty, and loving Him and living a life of peace and tranquility. And we superimpose something else over top of that wasn't worth it. Gave all of our time, gave all of our effort, gave all of our love and all the good inside of us to somebody or something that just destroyed us. Can we pick ourselves up to love again after had been dragged through the mud so low? I've been asking this question for 2 weeks now. Is there love after love? I ask many people, majority of the women quickly, yes, it's damn right it's possible. Look, the men, we out of pocket. I thought it was going to be the women, right? But it ended up being the men. Nah, I don't forget that bitch. She cheated on me. It's over. Got that man, nigga, up. No, I'm out. This, that, no, put the steak in my hand. Kevin Hart. Put the steak in my hand is going to be that Indian giver dude. Everything he ever gave, he went back because of one mistake, right? But we never stop to think as men. We put her in that situation. I lied to her to so much. I disrespected her. I took, and she loved and so-called, right? Loved me. But when she got to her point, and then we all got our I had it up to here, and she went and did one thing. Oh, now she this and she that. So let's fix that, inshallah. Let's fix that. I don't want to stay on that too long. Is there love after had such travesty happen or tragedy happen to us? The men say no, hell no, it's no mercy. She's over for that. She gotta go. I think we lying. I think we say that, because if you any kind of man, you realize that I pushed her to do that. And if you really love her, just like she forgave you 1,000,000 times for that one thing, you should have an open heart and try to see. Now, if you see a dead heart, she don't care, she been cheating, it's your cousin, Allahu Alam. God knows best, but I think they deserve mercy just like we deserve. Maybe she tried to get your attention. Maybe you need to wake up and maybe that's the only way she's going to be able to sit down and open up to you and talk about the things you've been doing to her for so long. Maybe that was the only way to get you to realize that, maybe she, you got a good woman there. You just got to figure it out, inshallah. That's not my point. My point here is there love after love, I think that I say yes as a man. Most of the men said no. I say yes, there's love after love because we were given a book of guidance. We were given revelation of guidance. This thing, everybody got this issue with taking from a book. SubhanAllah. But everybody does agree at the same time. For everybody who got an issue with the book, be it the Bible, whatever revelation that's sent down to man for us to live by, you got an issue with that in telling a book, telling you what to do and blah, blah, blah. My people's even said that to me. I smiled and shrugged it off because I say back to you, again, some years ago, if you get a new toy or situation, it comes with an instruction manual how to put it together. You gotta read, understand what you just paid your money for, what you invested in, what you giving your life or your heart or your situation to. You have to read and understand. You're gonna give it to a stick or a fire or a stone or human being. The human beings let you down all the time. We have instruction manual on how to be human, what it's like to be human, the full experience of a human, and who made us so unique individually, but as a power front when we unify. Feel me on that. We have an instruction that we just have a problem with. Ain't nobody telling me what to do. I'll be damned. I'm going to live my life as joyfully as you. Who the hell, blah, 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 men and women. But we letting everything and anything control our lives to the point where we making excuses for it because, one, we got our hands involved. We got our own little selfish, sneaky stuff going on within the situation that we know we wrong for from the get, right? So this is what happens when you don't pray, when you don't have a connection, when you're not in tune to your faith. You start, getting used to like the Jews got used to Pharaoh, giving them pebbles and scraps and crumbs off the table while their people and their families and everything they had lived well and lavish. But they got so used to getting crumbs that they were scared to go out in the desert and trust God and get something way 10 times better than what Pharaoh could ever give. And it's like we already used, nigga, you crazy. You're talking about going out in the desert and this, and they start making excuses to remain the same instead of changing. SubhanAllah. Shout out to everybody who did. Alhamdulillah. They trusted Musa. They trusted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we all should still be doing to the day that we die. You trust God. You never waver your faith. If you come into Islam, Allah say, "Oh, ye who believe, come into Islam wholeheartedly." Everything about you. When you find God, because most people do pause for a second. Most people do research on who it is that they coming to or what they getting into, whatever it is. But why not do research on who it is that you calling God or what you got before God, what's going on inside of yourself? Because most of us got a lot of things before we have our faith. And that's the answer to why we're going through so much inside of ourselves, especially inside of our relationship. Because if you put a man or a woman in, again, like I said, it was last week or a couple of days ago, put a man and a woman in a place where only Allah should be or God Almighty should be, then we are putting our own two hands into something that's causing our own destruction. Because Allah said he left no stone unturned. That means everything that's inside our instruction manual, revelation, whatever revelation you take from, that's directly from God, like the Psalms, like the Proverbs, like the gospel, the real gospel, if you look into it, the red letter Bible, whatever you want to call it, and you take the red letters of Jesus Christ. And before I became Christian, right before I became a Muslim, I took the red letter Bible and I took the regular of Bibles that I could find, the top of, and I took only the words of Jesus and put it to the rest of the gospel, and I came up with one God. Jesus running around telling everybody, not me, not me, not me, performing miracles, trying to bring his people, just like we all as parents should be trying to pull our children and pull our situations out of the fire. Do what he did. SubhanAllah. Moses, Abraham, no one learned these stories. They there for a reason. And these stories that we call them stories, these real truth. People who walk the earth that tried to save their own people in their situations, like we all should be trying to do in our city. They there for a reason. They told for a reason. They exist. They stand to this day for a reason, so we could take example from, not run away from, and superimpose our own ignorance on it and wonder why it's not working. That's not love. And Allah knows best. But I say, yes, there's love after having been broken and shattered and put down. I say that it's possible, better to come back and be stronger because you got experience now. You got understanding now. You can read the situation. You heard so many lies from this woman or man that a million people can come and tell you, and you can read that face, you can read those words, how they use the word, the eyebrow arch, to all this. Not saying that everybody is the same, but you can read situation clearly sometimes before it comes. You will know that if you want to put your heart and time in that situation, because we should be able, from the pain and how triumph and how far we have come in life already, calling things love that's not love. You find the stationary area where you do find mercy, love, guidance, light, joy, peace. You find the stationary in between that, and you bring your people there, and you cultivate there, and you get together there, and you become one unit there. Black, white, Chinese, fat, skinny, tall. It don't matter. You stay in the middle, subhanAllah, with mercy. Where the mercy and the light is. This issue of love, I say yes again. It's you get better when God closes one door, a million other doors is possibly to open for you. Because sometimes, and I say this at Dino Nasiha as an advice to myself and everybody else, sometimes He allows us to go through them hell and high water situations so that we can be strong enough for the greatest gift that ever came to our lives. It's 5-10 years from now, a year from now, 6 months from now, the person that you never thought you'd meet, the opportunity that you never thought would happen, the whatever it is that you're searching for, whatever amazing dreams you may have, the greatest blessing that's waiting for you, because what's meant for you not going to pass you by. It's going to come to you. Either you're going to miss it, you're going to grab it, one of the two. But you cannot ever stand before God and say that all of your gifts that He has for you never came to you, because nothing that's not meant for you is going to pass you by, and vice versa. But sometimes we got to go through these things that we're going through in the name of false, fake, crazy, weird, moving funny, moving sloppy love as situations in order to gain experience and wisdom and become the love of somebody else's life. All that lying that we do, all the pain that we cause, all the destruction, all of the using and all the abuse, you should let that ball you up. Throw that old person away. Because you look in the mirror and you notice that everybody you ever loved running away from you, they're running away from you and not talking to you, and it's because of a situation that you yourself don't want to change. And you blame, and we blame everybody else other than ourselves. We are painting our own paintings here. Don't let the devil be the author of your script. Subhanallah. Do not let Shaitan, or avowed everybody's enemy, become the author of your story. Laughing at you, humiliating you, disrespecting you. And you do nothing about it. SubhanAllah. Knowing that you got the greatest gift above you. His majesty, His hand, His favor, His love, His mercy, His strength. When we unify as a family, as a forefront. So yes, it's possible. I say that we become the greatest versions of ourselves through these situations. The high and hell water situations, they're supposed to build up a great king or a great queen to be for somebody else, because you could be, and you are, somebody's love of their life. You might not know it. You might not have met them yet, but your voice, your color of your skin, the taste of your lips, the way you swerve and laugh, your unique self, things that you think somebody else find disgusting or got nothing, that's everything for somebody. We all are unique. Love will find you, fat, tall, skinny. It will touch you. And when it touches you, it won't let you go. Even if you lost it, they die. You see these 60, 70-year-olds going to the grave weekly on purpose. They taking flowers because life wouldn't have been life without these people touching your life. These pains and these situations. Bro, I'm telling you. So now, love, it'll have you on a roller coaster. It'll do things to you. It'll have you up all night. It'll have you stressing. But if you love him for the right reasons, and I want to say fisabilillah, for the sake of his majesty and his majesty alone, that means I love you until you come to these boundaries. My respect for God, my faith is in this household, is in my life, is who I am, is part of the makeup of who I be. And if you don't like that about me, then you got the wrong person. You got to find somebody else. Because that's who I am. That's all I can be. I know what I am. Me personally, or anybody else that got faith, you know what you are when you don't have these things. You know what you become. You become that Beelzebub, that thing that, the Lord of the Rings, when, the old man, when he pulled out the coin or whatever it is, that was the ring, and he became that thing when he saw the ring. He hated himself. He knew that, go take this, get it away from me. That's what false love is. So now, it is possible, become the love of somebody's life. And be patient. You're going to try things. You're going to have your tests and your trials. We're human beings. We hasty. We're going to see some cute things. We're going to see some beautiful things. We're going to see some amazing things. But if the one thing is missing, none of it's worth it. But some of us, for the love of God, I don't understand. A bunch of zeros is better than God for you. A 1 or 5 behind a bunch of zeros on a check. Throw your faith away, throw your life away. This man can do whatever he wants to you, whatever. However, even have sex with other men. Man, oh man, but you, to be lavish, to be lovely, to have Gucci, to have whatever it is, Balenciaga. Anyway. Balenciaga. Ay, Rabbi. Anyway, you don't care. You let him, her have their way. Allah knows best. Yo, listen, find out what love is. Love comes from God. Love is a mercy from God. It's compassion. I read it. I loved it. I'm not trying to get into the religious text. I wanted to talk about love. Try to get into it. But it's no love without faith. You can't even get married under the watchful eye of who you're going to have your marriage for. Or what? Because once that thing is gone, so shall they be. Money, cars, fame, fortune, Once all that stuff goes, so shall the love that they falsely proclaim for you. Y Dios sabe que sí, es verdad que dice, ¿entiendes? Tienes que conocer a su Señor antes que tú conocer cualquier persona en el mundo. You need to learn and love who God is before you learn who anybody is in this earthly world. Learn who God is before you even learn who Jesus Christ is. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, learn who God is before you learn who Jesus was, right? How do you do that? Learn to everybody who came before him. David, Solomon, Joseph. Learn their stories. You learn. You will find God. And when you find God, you'll understand Jesus a whole lot more better than you. And when I found that within my Christianity, when I was Christian and I came into Islam, and I realized that I can still have this amazing love for Isa ibn Maryam, right? For Jesus Christ, but I put it in its proper place. I put him in allow him to help me the way he was sent to help me for. You understand what I'm trying to say? He was sent here to this earth to teach us how to be good, amazing parents, lovers, spouses, to teach us how to love in accordance to his majesty. But don't nobody want to get into all that. They just want to stamp what Paul stamped on it and call it love. It's impossible to call something love without having a full understanding on it. Because if we wasting too much time on false love, we die upon that, then you only have yourself to blame for the consequences that come with it. This is finding humility through change, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here on this subject of love. If you have anything you want to add to it, I mean nobody's faith, no disrespect. You know, I come a long way. I've read. I got some understanding on some things, but I don't know everything. I want to learn. If I said it wrong, if it came out wrong, not my intentions. My whole intention is to get us all to recognize where our love's supposed to be first. And that's how we learn to love each other accordingly. I won't see how much you have. I won't see the color of your skin. I won't see how big or how much status you. I'll just see my brother or my sister, or better yet, my wife. My wife. My friends, my brothers, my sisters, you know. I miss that kind of love, man. But where is it anymore? We all loving each other and things for the wrong reasons. And that is turning us into savages, cold-hearted monsters. Monsters. It's monsters in our households, man. Ain't no love there. And they turn around and laugh at us trying to love them, knowing that they ain't got the same kind of love or respect that they came out of you. That child came out of you, but that kind of hatred and poison and love is a mix that you should not have in your home around you. Not everybody got on the ark for a reason. Some people weren't allowed to be on the ark because of the content of their character and what their heart show. I can't see what's inside of your heart, but I can see what's on your face and all around you with the things you listen to, the things you do, and I can see that is pointing me into the wrong direction. If I allow that to come in, it's like a poison that slowly spreads. And Allah knows best. I'm getting out on the subject of love. I can go on and on forever. But I say yes, there is love after you've been destroyed. And most of the times it's because we destroy ourselves. We harmed somebody or did something outside the content of love. And then ran back and tried to hypocritically hide behind the word. It's no love without prayer. There's no love without sacrifice. No love without God. There's no love without deeds. There's no love without unity. There's no love. And Allah knows best. So anyway, this is Find the Humility to Change, you guys. I'm your host, Abdul Wakil, and I was trying to explain my name the other day. So Umpa is Pop or Grandpa in German. I got it from a movie where I saw these kids. I forgot the name of the movie. Allah knows best. But the grandfather had a box of memories that he had from the war. And he told the kids, look in there, pick out something, and I'll tell you the story behind it. But when they came and it was story time, then oompa, 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 oompa. And that love that the kids and respect that they had for that old man, I said, if I ever had a grandchild, I'm going to want him to call me Oompa because of that honor. So when my first grandson got new and it got wind of me having my first grandson, thank you, Ricky, I tried to teach him how to, not be on the rainbow team, but I also didn't mention anything about strapping up. So now that I'm mentioning that, you young men, strap up. It's okay to strap up. It's okay to prevent yourself from becoming an early father. Pull out, strap up, get that young lady some time to grow. If you can't control your emotions or your feelings or your lower region, I would say still get to know that person. Take a pause, break. What's your last name? What's your middle name? What colors you like? Watch how he or she treats her mother and her friends and all that before you decide to put a seed inside of that person or grow a seed with that person. You might regret it. So I give if I had this chance to do it all over again, I tell my son, strap up. But I got some beautiful grandchildren out of this situation. Beautiful, amazing grandchildren out of this. For my kids, God bless you guys. I'm proud. I'm a proud grandfather. So that's how I got the name Oompa. Abdul Wakil is an attribute or name of the Almighty. He is Al Wakil, the one you can trust the most. So how did I come up with this name, Abdul Wakil? SubhanAllah. Abdul is the servant to. The one you can trust the most. It's Abdul, servant, slave, servant of Wakil, the one I can trust the most. So it's Umpa Abdul Wakil. Inshallah, you guys understand that. Anyway, so Abdul Al Wakil is the one you can trust the most. So how I came up with this. So back when I first took Shahada, I wanted one of these cool names, Muhammad, Ahmed, I was all into it. I didn't know no better. You get some knowledge, you think you learn everything, you want to go teach it everything. So brother's telling me, you gotta get a name, brother. You need a name. So I'm like, I don't know. I like Manny. I like Man. You can call me Man. I'm from the East Side. That's my name. He's like, nigga. Anyway, so he said, nah. You look up the names and you look up. You got to know yourself. So you look up names that fit your character, things that you know about yourself, like whatever, but attributes of yourself that you like, and you get the name of that thing. And you cover up the meaning of it in English, and you get 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people that love you and respect you, and you say, you cover up the name and you leave the characteristics out, and you say, which one of these characteristics fit me the most? And of those 5 or 6 people, you take the sticks, whatever one, you put a check behind it. And Abdul Wakil was the name that stuck out the most. I asked 6 or 7 people, and they like 4 or 5 of them said the same thing. So I felt honored in that, being trusted. My friends, the people I thought around me, my brothers around me at the time of my child. So I stuck the name. I took the name, took on the name. But you have to become that. You take on the name or attribute of Allah. You have to become as best you can. It's a progress. It takes time, but you have to live up to it as much as you can. Now, I'm not perfect. None of us are. But you put the first foot forward, which is one of my favorite statements, to become that honorable type of person. Honor your name, honor your attribute. So I'm Umpa Abdul Wakil. This is Finding Humility Through Change. And inshallah, I will see you guys next week.